Hello and welcome to Tech24. I'm Anelise Borges. Coming up, a road that glows in the dark, a vertical farm housed in aluminum towers. In today's show, we take a look at initiatives that are transforming the places we live into cities of the future. And in Test24, we introduce you to ELIKIA, the first smartphone made in the Republic of Congo. We compare it to some of the market heavyweights. Half of the world's population lives in urban areas. These places account for only 2% of the world's land, yet use 3/4 of the world's resources. That's a lot of people in a small space, consuming a great deal. And if this trend is to continue, as many experts predict, we'd better start changing some habits. Making cities smarter is part of that challenge. Renewable energy, sustainable buildings, improved urban layouts, and lighter transport initiatives are all elements we can expect to see in the cities of the future, many of which are already being developed in initiatives across the globe. Marc is here with us. Marc, I would like to start today with some great news. We now have a 100% solar-powered nation. A tiny collection of islands in the South Pacific is completely able to support itself using solar energy. Tell us how the project came to be.
Well, this is incredible. The little group of islands, Tokelau, which only have 1,400 inhabitants, with a tiny little GDP of just over around 187,000 pounds, and they have installed, or thanks to the New Zealand government, because they're kind of in between. You've got New Zealand on one side, Samoa on the other. New Zealand, the government's looking after them, and they have installed over 4,000 solar panels, 1,344 batteries, and they were hoping to account for 93% of the whole island's, the group of islands' energy. And in fact, they're going to be able to get 150%, which is going to make, I mean, the project cost over $4 million, but they will get most of that back because they won't need to import the oil and won't be using up the petrol and that sort of thing. So amazing news for them.
Thumbs up there. Meanwhile, Sweden has also invested in renewable energy. It began incinerating its trash in the 1940s, and now 20% of Sweden's households are heated using this technique. That's 810,000 homes, Marc.
Incredible. I mean, Sweden, brilliant place. They've made us all feel great as men building things or trying to think that we can build, you know, beds and all that thanks to IKEA. Now they're just going straight through with renewable energy. Incredible numbers. As you said, 20% is being, they're able to use trash. They're turning trash into cash. Not only do they have not enough garbage now in the country, they're importing it from Norway, and Norway is paying them for that privilege. And just to give you a couple of little numbers here. Okay, the UK, I keep using the UK. The last time there was a study on this, uses 249 kilograms per person of landfill. How many kilograms do you think Sweden has now per person?
I have no idea.
Little guess?
No, I can't have any guess, no.
Nine kilograms compared to I mean, these guys, wow. They're incredible. And so they're turning trash into cash, and it's eco-friendly. Well done, Sweden. Thank you for that.
Another great initiative, Marc, that involves energy and urban planning is coming to life in the Netherlands. You heard right. A road that glows in the dark, eliminating the needs for old lamps and signs. The studio Roosegaarde developed a photoluminizing powder that, used in paint and applied to the road, will replace road marking. It charges up in sunlight, giving it up to 10 hours of glow-in-the-dark time at night. How is that for a bright idea, Marc?
That is, I mean, what the boss of this company, very intelligently, he sees, I mean, it's a technology company. They saw that they wanted, when they were driving at night, they wanted things to pop out, and then this idea came around. The paint is not a brand new thing, the glow-in-the-dark paint, but it's the way they've applied it. And, you know, in a place where you can have a lot, where it will charge up during the day, they're getting a lot of take-up. Potentially, it's going to be rolled out in the Netherlands in mid-2013, and then there's take-up. I mean, India are very, very keen. You can imagine they get a lot of sunlight there, and the cost of electricity. I think it's the way of the future, certainly for the Netherlands.
And while many big cities are talking about increasing green space, in Singapore, they just opened the first vertical farm. So that's another great idea.
It's a great idea. Have you ever been to Singapore?
No, I've never been.
It's beautiful, but it's very packed full of people and sky rises. There's only 710 square kilometers. So they've needed to find a new way to grow because the vegetables, they only grow 7% of their own vegetables. The rest they have to import. So what have they done? They've developed these 120 aluminium towers, 9 meters high each one, and they're able in each one to develop 500 or to grow 500 kilograms of vegetables. There's 3 different types of vegetables in each one of these towers. It's a bit more expensive, but the Singaporeans are willing to pay a bit more for these homegrown organic products.
Great examples. Thanks for that, Mark. We'll move on now because it's time for Test 24. Meet ELIKIA, the first smartphone made in Congo. After launching the first Made in Africa tablet in 2011, Veron Manco is back with a new gadget. ELIKIA means hope in the local Lingala language, and this phone has great ambitions to compete with the best Android phones in the market and sell 50,000 units in a year. Marc, do you think ELIKIA is ready to play in the big league?
In the big leagues, in all honesty, probably not. I mean, if we're talking what are the aspirations, then it's not right now going to be, you know, Apple and Samsung are not going to be looking over their shoulders quite yet. But in the lower pricing, then possibly yes. I mean, the phone is exceedingly light. Do you want to have a quick see what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Pretty light.
It's very light. Feels like a toy, actually.
Well, it's got a lot of toy features. It's got the standard features of most smartphones. It's got Wi-Fi, GPS. It runs the Android operating system, so you can get all of the apps necessary from that. And 3.5-inch display. And it's got I love the camera on this. Very easy to use. 5 megapixels. So up there with your Blackberries and that. Actually, I think is better than some of the Blackberries. Here we've got can we see that photo? That's a photo of our lovely presenter working here on. As you see, pretty nice. And there's our lovely team who are hard at work earlier on. And as you see, very nice, I like this phone. I do think there's a question of economies of scale. They need to bring the price down, but that will come with more selling more and building more. But I think in the future we'll certainly see it. And it's all developed in the Congo, so. Yeah, fair play to that.
And you mentioned the price, 130 euros, is that right?
Yeah, 130 euros. Try and get that down. The Huawei Blaze right now is going at about 100 euros and it has all the same functionality. So it's a toss-up, but hopefully, as we say, economies of scales and it will become cheaper in the years to come.
Thanks for that, Marc, and thank you for watching this edition of Tech 24. Don't forget you can give us your feedback on the show via Facebook or on Twitter at TechF24. And finally, nearly 2 tons of carbon dioxide emissions are released into New York City every second. According to a study by the mayor's office, in 2010, the city of New York emitted 54 million metric tons of CO2 into the atmosphere. The agency Carbon Visuals wanted to make those emissions feel a bit more real, so they came up with this video that offers a 3D view of the effect of the pollution. Assuming that 1 ton of CO2 would fill a sphere about 33 feet across, represented by the large turquoise orbs you see floating up from the streets, have a look at what would happen if all the CO2 emissions from vehicles, buildings, and factories were to emerge together at the same spot in downtown Manhattan. We leave you with those images. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.